New tonight at 6, we're taking you back to North Pointe Apartments in Euclid.
We first told you about piled up trash and rat issues there earlier this week. Tonight, News 5's Mike Brookbank is exposing even more problems. And Mike, you're trying to track down answers for one resident who, for some reason, was allowed to move into that trash-filled apartment.
Yeah, Robin's Anita, Tiana Wilson got the keys to her 19th floor apartment this morning, and she was ready to hand over more than $1,500 to move in when she had the chance to get a sneak peek at what her money was about to get her. Despite what she already knew about the current conditions at North Pointe Apartments,
there's dog feces, dog urine in the hallways for days at a time.
Tiana Wilson, already a resident here, requested a new larger unit more than a month ago.
Here we are, June 30th, and it's not ready.
These are some of the pictures Wilson snapped just hours before she was set to move in to Unit 1955. Stained carpets, trash, and a fridge filled with old food and cockroaches greeted her.
You probably felt like you needed a shower after walking out.
I did. It makes me itchy now.
Shocked by what she saw, Wilson immediately notified North Pointe staff.
I think it was outrageous, and then I went down there, and everyone has a different story. Everyone's pointing the finger at everybody, and no one knows anything.
News 5 has learned the city of Euclid, aware of a string of safety issues like crumbling balconies and this broken security door,
But I can just reach right here and open.
filed criminal charges against the owner of North Pointe Apartments. This week, the court told the city it believes a new management company is making strides to improve conditions.
I would say that I have not seen such strides. I've seen lots of talk. But I haven't seen any action to back it up.
I took Wilson's pictures to Euclid City Hall to show the mayor's assistant. Because of the pending litigation, she could not go on camera, but she reacted to the disgusting state of Wilson's apartment by saying, quote, "Horrible, no one should live in that."
It doesn't seem like they care. They don't live here, so they don't care.
We also went directly to the staff at North Pointe.
I'm going to ask you guys to leave. No cameras, please.
Okay, well, we're trying to help this resident out.
I understand, no cameras.
We wanted to know, how could they rent out this space in its current state? You don't want to make any sort of comment about the conditions of that apartment?
Please don't record me.
The property management company that oversees North Pointe Apartments did not return my phone call today, and we still don't know if the staff at the complex was aware of the condition of Wilson's apartment when they gave her the keys. Well, we just learned that apartment is being cleaned tonight, and a new fridge and carpet are on the way. It's going to be ready for Wilson tomorrow, and for her trouble, the property manager is waiving the $300 apartment transfer fee.
It all started late last month when we found garbage overflowing from trash chutes and piling up in elevators and stairwells at the North Pointe Apartments in Euclid. We took our concerns to City Council.
Basic human decency says that nobody should have to live under those conditions.
A few days later, people who live here started reaching out to us with their horror stories, like a dirty apartment full of garbage, mold, and cockroaches in the fridge and outside in the hall.
There's dog feces, dog urine in the hallways for days at a time.
That's when we found out the city sued the apartment owner, but the courts ruled new management was cleaning things up.
Well, try telling that to India Wade. After speaking with her, our laundry list of problems at North Pointe is growing.
Right, if you thought it couldn't get any worse than what we've already showed you, imagine bed bugs, mold, and maggots in your home. Not to mention blatant safety violations like a broken security door, crumbling balconies. That's what hundreds of people who live in that apartment building are dealing with.
Every single day you're worried about whether the balconies are going to fall on top of your head. Nobody should have to live like that.
We lived in the mold for a month and a half.
For months, people who live here have been complaining about these health and safety violations, and in return, they're hearing crickets. News 5's Mike Brookbank has been digging into their problems and has the story all new at 5 tonight.
They need to send somebody into that apartment building to really inspect it.
India Wade, just the latest person to sound the alarm about problems at North Pointe Apartments.
To me, North Pointe just needs to get shut down.
Wade and her husband just broke their lease on a unit they tell me had water flowing underneath the carpet.
Nobody responded to me when I called.
It started as a small trickle.
The little patches in our carpet turned into like a trail of water.
Wade tells me as she struggled to get the staff to help, mold was growing in her bedroom closet and she didn't even know it.
It was like mildew and maggots and like baby roaches underneath.
That's when Wade and her husband sent their 4-month-old son, Dion, to live with relatives.
We lived apart from my son for about 2 weeks.
Nobody should be subjected to those types of living conditions.
Right now, Councilman Darrell Langman demanding a detailed report on the current conditions at North Pointe. How come this property has not been inspected by the city of Euclid?
That's really a better question for the administration.
The administration telling me it boils down to staffing. With 10,000 apartment units in Euclid, they run a strict inspection schedule, and no one can do it until later next month.
There's no excuse for waiting any longer.
A judge has given the property management company here more time to tackle issues, telling the city things are moving in the right direction.
You can't just take their word that progress is being made, because too many tenants are telling you that progress has not been made.
Langman tells me the only way to know for sure, inspect North Pointe immediately for the residents' sake.
The government is their only protection from what has been bad management, and we need to step up and protect those people's interests.
Only News 5 has been telling you about the atrocious conditions people are being forced to live in at the North Pointe apartments in Euclid. We're talking garbage piling up in stairwells and elevators, cockroaches, even maggots and crumbling balconies. Well, today we met with a man who lives nearby and says all of these problems are just the tip of the iceberg at North Pointe. The troubled apartment building has left the city of Euclid in a battle with itself. And News 5's Mike Brookbank has been staying on top of this story. He's live from North Pointe tonight. Mike, there are new developments now in the effort to get this place inspected immediately.
Yeah, Frank, we just learned that some Euclid City Council members are now taking formal action and demanding the mayor's office get involved. They have drafted this resolution and, if passed on Monday, would get inspectors into North Pointe immediately. The list of health and safety concerns at North Pointe Apartments continues to grow.
That place is an absolute disaster.
Just this week, a fire inspection revealed more code violations.
The city is not responding quick enough or hard enough.
The issues we continue to uncover, not just a concern for people who call this complex home.
This is my city.
Thomas Cook, a lifelong Euclid resident and someone who's worked in the construction industry for years,
You know, we have deep roots here.
lives around the corner from North Pointe.
When I pushed my feet down, you could smell the rotting carcasses.
It wasn't until his wife came across several rats while on a bike ride that he discovered what was happening so close to home.
This is not acceptable. Not in a heartbeat. No way.
Topping his list of concerns, the infestation of rats.
If I'm seeing 20 rats scurrying, there's got to be hundreds.
Cook pointing out numerous burrows right along Lakeshore Boulevard.
It should not be happening here. Not in this city, no.
Euclid's law director tells me the Cuyahoga County Board of Health reports a 75% reduction in the rat population at North Pointe.
The law director is wrong. She doesn't know what she's talking about. The evidence is here. It's clear. No one has been here. No one is doing anything. They haven't done anything.
While checking out the grounds, Cook got a chance to go inside North Pointe.
They should not have to be subjected to this kind of living.
Cook's camera capturing mold growing on the walls, waterlogged ceiling tiles, and a parking garage full of missing fireproofing and rusted out columns and beams.
If that was a home, if that was anybody's home and their home was in that shape, it would be condemned immediately.
Cook tells me despite what the city might be saying, the needs of North Pointe residents are not being met.
If it's happening here, it's happening somewhere else within this community, and that's wrong. That's dead wrong.
Euclid's law director refused our request for an on-camera interview. Kelly Sweeney says that the city is not ignoring the cries from North Pointe residents and that the major health and safety issues are being addressed through prosecution. The building's owner is currently facing charges and has time to address some of these problems. Sweeney went on to say that they're working on these issues and they want residents to be patient with new management, which she says has the residents' best interest at heart. Again, this property is slated to be checked out on August 14th. If anything changes before that, we'll be sure to let you know. After months of requests, the team trying to turn around this embattled apartment community invited us to take a tour of their property. Our camera rolling as we got a look at the work done so far and what still needs to be done to tackle issues like rodents and structural issues. As water leaks from the ceiling in North Pointe's fitness center and in the underground parking garage, Questions remain about the structural integrity of the two buildings that make up this massive complex with more than 950 apartments. Crumbling balconies like the one connected to this vacant unit, also a major concern.
Put temporary plywood up there. What the city told me to do is what we did.
Residents tell me pieces of their neighbors' balconies above have fallen onto them while outside.
How does North Pointe LLC let it get to the point that it got to?
Well, it relied on its management company. I mean, the owner isn't involved in the day-to-day operation of the property. They rely on their management company.
That old company fired, replaced in mid-May by Vinny Stefanini and his team. As they wait for a report from a structural engineer, eradicating an infestation of rats is also among their top priorities.
Unfortunately, it just got out of hand, and we are doing everything we can to eradicate it.
Stefanini tells me an exterminator is here every day trying to get rid of the rodents, and they hope to build this dumpster container garage in the near future. Right now, the city of Euclid is threatening criminal charges against North Pointe's owner if they don't show progress.
So it's in our best interest to do all of this, not because anybody's holding a gun to our head or telling us we have to do it.
During our tour, we could see problem areas like dirty, messy trash chute rooms, clean, chutes clear. Security concerns addressed with new locking doors.
And all of you would be willing to move into a unit here today?
Sure. Yeah, one that's been made ready, sure.
Meantime, a maintenance team of 7
Is that enough for 2 buildings of this size?
It can be, yeah.
is working to tackle a backlog of requests. One upset resident interrupting our shoot to tell us we didn't get a real tour and tenants' concerns are not being addressed in a timely manner.
If they would have been taken care of, they wouldn't have blown up the way they are now. So
the city of Euclid's inspection of North Pointe continues. Both sides will be back in court next month.
The clock is ticking for a troubled apartment community to get right as the laundry list of concerns continues to grow.
For months, News 5 has been exposing the ongoing health and safety issues at North Pointe Apartments in Euclid. Tonight, new video and pictures show fed-up residents are not seeing much relief. News 5's Mike Brookbank now with the latest on the condition of the massive complex.
Unacceptable. That's how one resident describes the pace of progress here at this troubled property. Rats on the move.
the conditions are unacceptable for living.
This new video taken just weeks after the law director for the city of Euclid told me they were getting the rodent infestation at North Pointe under control.
They want you to pay your rent on time, but they don't want to do anything on time.
Even though the building's owner is facing criminal prosecution for rats, garbage, and failing balconies,
The city's just letting these building owners run right over them.
major violations are still visible.
It's just plain not acceptable. Nobody in their right mind would accept the lack of action that has occurred here on this property.
Despite twice requesting North Pointe management provide a report from a structural engineer regarding the safety of these balconies, the city still does not have those findings.
But ultimately, it's up to the city administration as to the pace and intensity of the prosecution.
Councilman Darrell Langman tells me instead of listening to the stories of progress told by the property owner, the mayor and law department should be listening to North Pointe tenants.
They'll tell you if they're doing the right thing or if it's just talk.
This resident who didn't want to be identified tells me so far, that's all it is, talk.
They need somebody that's going to move quickly, rapidly, and efficiently where the residents are satisfied.
Thomas Cook, who lives around the corner from North Pointe, wants these issues addressed now.
I'm not stopping. I'm tired of being lied to. To be lied to for over 2.5 years by the city, by this landlord. No, it's unacceptable.
Cook tells me once North Pointe is back on track, he's setting his sights elsewhere.
But I do want other property owners in this city to take notice because I'm coming after you.
Both the property owner and the city are going to be back in court next week. We'll, of course, let you know what happens.
And right now, we want to take you outside, give you a live look. That's North Pointe Apartments in Euclid, where people, you see the signs, they are fed up with delays and excuses and demanding some action to change their deplorable living conditions. This is a problem. We've been telling you about it for months now, and it's finally driven the people who have to live there to the streets.
Yeah, the management company responsible for the apartments is facing criminal charges, but has so far convinced the courts to delay and delay and delay, vowing progress is being made. But News 5's Mike Brookbank is out there live for us tonight. And Mike, you've been visiting North Pointe for months now, and you haven't seen any progress yet.
Yeah, that's right, Karina. And these residents say that the city and the management company are failing the hundreds of people who call this massive complex home. You can see at this hour they are out here walking in front of North Pointe holding signs with giant rats on them saying warning, rat infested. That's because the rodent problem here is not improving as quickly as they want and is now actually expanding to neighboring homes and apartment communities. These new dumpsters were supposed to be part of the solution to rid this property of its rat infestation.
There is still a huge number of rat burrows.
They've been in place just a few weeks, but as you can see by these photos obtained by News 5, they're not doing much to curb the issue.
We knew right from the get-go that they weren't going to work, and right now they're proving themselves not to work.
Turns out the new dumpsters that originally took weeks to get into place are not rodent-proof. As you can see, the bottoms and sides are not sealed.
The rats are climbing through the sides and through the top. It's as if they never replaced the old ones.
The Cuyahoga County Board of Health tells me they will not have to be modified or replaced to cut off the rat's food source.
The burrows do have to be dealt with. Just dealing with the dumpsters is not a solution.
The Board of Health is now also telling North Pointe Management the pest control company that it's using needs to step up its efforts and rebait the area more frequently than once per week until the rats are completely eliminated.
This is America. We are not a third world country. We should not be living like this.
Meantime, a judge is again giving North Pointe more time to tackle a laundry list of other health and safety violations. The city telling the court it feels the property management company is making progress. Today, I asked the city to provide me with a specific list of where that progress is occurring, and I never got that information. I was told the goal remains compliance. Currently, the issues are not fixed to the adequacy of the city. And back out here live, these protesters plan to walk along Lakeshore Boulevard for another couple of hours. And moving forward, they are committed to staying out here until those rats are completely gone. The city and the management company are due back in court on September 14th. Of course, we'll let you know what happens. North Pointe's owner was supposed to be in court to update the judge on the progress they're making, but less than 24 hours before they were to appear, they requested the case be continued until next month. It is a delay that has now happened nearly a half dozen times.
Wall-to-wall negligence, all of that, and how do you keep getting continuance?
More time. It's what a judge granted the lawyers representing North Pointe Apartments.
And for her to keep letting this go on, she should be ashamed of herself.
It's a move the city of Euclid's law director tells me she would have objected to if she had even known. The judge approving the request without consulting the city, which okayed them up until this point.
They've never objected to these continuances, and now the judge simply grants one because an attorney can't show up?
Euclid City Councilman Darrell Langman tells me the system is failing those it should be protecting.
While the paperwork goes back and forth, it's real people that are being impacted by the continuing issues over at North Pointe.
The property currently facing criminal prosecution for ongoing health and safety violations. Are you embarrassed by what you're witnessing?
I don't know if embarrassed is the right word. I'm frustrated and I'm flabbergasted.
Major issues remain unresolved, like a rat infestation and garbage.
The lower levels, trash is everywhere.
Along with crumbling balconies and fireproofing in the underground garage.
The rats is still a problem. The trash is still a problem. Customer service in general in the building is a problem. The porches are still dangerous.
Residents like Pierre Godfrey tell me the conditions are taking a toll.
Call this a lost cause. Pack your stuff up soon as your lease is up and just move.
While they continue to face major issues, William Jennings tells me basic maintenance is being ignored.
Somebody spit on the inside of the elevator door in the west building. It's dried up. It's still there. It's been there for months.
If you can't take care of the basics, look at the major stuff. And they're not even trying. This is how they want us to live. You know, they're content with that.
An attorney for North Pointe's owners tells me they are making progress on the rats and their garbage containers meet or exceed the county health department standards. He claims issues with the garage and balconies are being addressed. The next court date is November 2nd.
News 5 has been following the North Pointe saga in Euclid, and tonight there's a bizarre new twist in the ongoing health and safety problems we've been telling you about.
It's a mess. The rats, trash, crumbling balconies, just some of the problems people have been dealing with there. The fed-up tenants, sick of the deplorable conditions, have been moving out for months now. And tonight we learned one unwanted tenant just moved in. News 5's Mike Brookbank live right now for us once again from the apartments in Euclid. And Mike, one tenant is on his way to the laundry room. He made a disturbing discovery, and this just happened recently.
Yeah, Danita, Chris Jaros, who lives on the 12th floor of the West Tower, was on his way to the basement to do laundry, made a wrong turn, and ended up in a dark room that he says someone was calling home.
Ran across pretty much squatters in the basement.
Chris Jaros tells me he found a cardboard shanty set up in an old activities room in the basement of North Pointe's West Tower.
That'd be in the bocce/volleyball court that's closed to the public technically, but you can still just walk right over there.
And that's exactly what he tells me at least one homeless man did.
Who would have thought you could just walk right into a basement of an apartment building and find a place to live?
Jaros believes he had been there a while.
By the smell, at least a month. It's pretty bad.
As for how he got in, Jaros believes it was through this parking garage door.
Now the lock's completely broken. It just kind of hangs there and flops around. You just push right in, you can walk right into the building.
Jaros, who's only lived here since September, was not shocked by what he found, including human feces.
I don't know what to tell you. It just didn't surprise me. By the atmosphere in that place,
Here's video Jaros recently took of water dripping onto his bed in the middle of the night.
Some tuck point issue that they have that they can't seem to solve.
An inspection report just obtained by News 5 shows the city of Euclid is giving North Pointe management 90 days to fix a laundry list of health and safety violations.
Massive spiders, ant infestation, garbage everywhere, just filthy.
The report shows the property still has a rat and insect problem. Leaking water is leading to mold and mildew in the basement and underground garage, where there are corroded steel beams and deteriorated concrete. For now, Jaros is adapting to the leak above his bed.
I don't even live in my bedroom. Just moved out on the couch. I got a nice comforter. That's all I do.
He's also taking matters into his own hands. This video shows him using a leaf blower to get rid of trash he found in a common area. Now, Jaros did notify the staff here about the squatters living in the basement. They removed that cardboard shanty. The lawyer representing the owners here at North Pointe told me that he can't explain how or why squatters were living in the basement. Meantime, the city of Euclid tonight telling us that progress has been made out here at this property, but more work needs to be done. We're live in Euclid tonight. Mike Brookbank, News 5.